20 minutes to 7, got a great track coming up from Simply Red and Holding Back the Ears. Radio 1. Me next. Holding back the years or the ears? I have to be at my best at 5:45. Whilst people are calming down, they've had a hard day's work and they started their journey to work at 7 o'clock in the morning. I've got to be bright. They're a little dull. It's my job to bring them up a little bit. So it's the middle of the day for me. Most of the people, I think, who listen to my show are a little younger on the whole. But because the majority are a younger audience and maybe a hip commercial audience is the way I instantly describe them, I actually like to choose very commercial music. And when listening to a record for the first time, it must hit me for the first time. And I always sort of attach a glossy poster with the records I play as well. You know, I wouldn't sort of imagine a glossy poster on a bedroom wall of the Pogues, for instance, in a 15-year-old girl's bedroom. But I'd certainly recommend, or I would expect anyway, to see a poster of, say, Bros. Of course, Mick Hucknall was on the telephone the other day. You know, we got the answer machine on our show here. He was saying how much he hated talking to answer machines. I know exactly how he feels. There's something very insecure about talking to an answer machine. The answer phone has become quite a star in its own right on my show, and believe me, you'll find all kinds of messages on it when you come in at 5:45. Some of them are quite distinguished as well.
Hello, Bruno. You naughty turkey, you're not there.
That must be the extraordinary Bruno Book. Books, I almost said. I'm sure the teleprinter really isn't printing the name as successfully as perhaps it should be.
Hi, Bruno. It's Kylie Minogue ringing from Melbourne, Australia. Just wanted to let you know that I was in England recently, and sorry I missed you.
Answer machines are very much part of today's society, and we rely on them. And I think that people like to listen to them because it gives the opportunity for them to see the other side of these well-known people as well.
For you and me, Britain's favourite Radio 1, the #1 hit music station.
The night time is the right time.
As far as people writing into the show are concerned, again, that's very important. I mean, I tend to analyse the way the letters are written as well. I have a letter here from a girl who lives in Silkworth in Sunderland. She hasn't put a name on there. It's an anonymous letter, but it's pretty often incidental details are very revealing. Someone might write in and say, for instance, "Hello, Bruno, just thought I'd drop you a line whilst I was doing my homework." But, of course, already that sentence has told you so much. Listening to your show on Wednesday about the girl who wants to meet Simon Climie. So I really try to analyse these letters rather than just scan through them for a quick giggle. I think they're telling you more than they think they're telling you. Another Climie Fisher. I was listening to your show last night when you read out a letter from a girl who wanted to meet Simon Climie from Climie Fisher. I have a friend who knows nothing about this letter who wants to spend some time with someone famous too. She wants to go out with Gary Davis. People do actually say to me, "Don't you ever get bored with playing records all the time? Every day and every night?" You see, the great thing, though, is that every record is different. I mean, every sound is different. And that's why you buy them. And every time I play a record, I get that same feeling. Well, most of the time. A lot of fun, that. In fact, you can buy that in the shops. Actually, it's Status... Oh, sorry, they haven't finished yet. This is the end, fine. That was the end. As I was just saying, you can actually buy that in the shops now. It's on an album by Status Squid, actually, as opposed to... sorry about that. Yes, thank you. I think that is the final end now. Another end, that is the end. That is Status Quo, and it's called The Boring Song. Anyway, it's now 10 minutes to 7 on Radio 1, and don't forget, later on we have some graphology for you with our... I give up! That's it! Go away!
For you and me, Britain's favourite Radio 1, singled out nightly on Radio 1.
My guests tonight are Boy George.
Hi there.
And D. Lewis.
Hello.
And these are the records, kicking off with a new single from Bros, I Owe You Nothing.
Singled Out on Friday nights offers the chance not only to hear the new releases, but also to hear what the artists themselves think of them too.
I've been doing Singled Out since October '87. It's only been called Singled Out for a couple of years. Before that it was Round Table. And I had a spell at doing it a few years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, when myself and three guests would actually physically sit around a round table. The records were played next door. Now you're playing records yourself, so you're a little more in command of the situation. You have control of the other people's microphones. Not that you need them. Everyone's so well behaved these days. It's never in the past been a prerequisite of being a successful musician or singer that you have to be a great interviewee, but I think as you've gone into the 80s, it's almost gone hand in glove with it. If you have a big hit single, you'd go on, you know, Swap Shop, Saturday Superstore, so you had to be able to talk suddenly. And the same with Singled Out. They obviously want to come over as best they can. You know, anyone would like people to think, hey, so-and-so was a great guest, weren't they?
As a mate of the band, I think it sounds better this time around. The new mix is much better than the original one. I actually prefer it to all the other singles they've had out. I think this is their best one to date, and I think it's going to be a hit.
Why do you think it didn't go first time?
I think they didn't have their faces on the cover.
The right haircuts.
I don't know. I mean, it's, you know, sometimes it takes a long time to get your foot in the door. You know what it's like. But I think it's going to go this time, obviously.
Because a lot of the time you can have a lot of talent, you can have great songs, but you've just got to get your face there, George, haven't you? You've got to get right in there, as you know, and just smack them between the eyes.
I think with Bros it's more to do with that a lot of people really fancy them, don't they? I mean, they're just really hot property. I like it, it's good. I think, again, I agree with her, it's the best thing, best song. I like it.
They have sort of transcended the teeny market now and making some good class singles.
I know, they still make me scream.
And this is the new single from the Wee Papa Girl Rappers,
Hooray.
featuring two men and a drum machine, Heat It Up. Some people maybe feel, I suppose unnecessarily, that they have to have a sort of an on-mic presence, that they have a them, whatever they've said off-mic. And other people will be totally honest and save their most ribald comments for on-air deliberately. I think some people like to be a little over the top.
I'm displaying, roughing up the rhythm while my rap is just playing up and never gonna stop. Drop the bass beat up while I
It's really a bit like having a couple of mates round on a Friday night. Even if it's people you don't know, you soon get to know them. It's like saying to a couple of people, hey, drop round, you know, we'll have a cup of tea, a few sandwiches, listen to a few records. And it's very much like that, and you think of the other millions of people who sort of eavesdropping, rather. It is the old, you know, the Ready Steady Go syndrome. The weekend starts here, and you know that a lot of people are listening, driving home, thinking, "Hey, it's the weekend," and they like to hear a bit of chat. The new records. I mean, maybe they're thinking, you know, what's around? I've read the music press. You know, am I going to buy some new records tomorrow so they can switch on and hear an hour and a quarter of the new releases? Bad, good, you know, ugly. Also, the music business are on their way home, and they tend to listen. The artists probably tend to listen to Singled Out to see what the other artists are going to say about their records, or because they're coming on next week and they want to hear what's around. So yes, it very much is like the start of the weekend.
Britain's favorite Radio 1.